Let's see here. In this image, I'm going to draw some bats. Turn these guys to lower opacity so they don't interfere with our mind. As much. Wow, that is some lag. What is happening there? That's okay. Color picking lag is crazy bad. This will be fun. Weird that that is going quickly. See how that goes. Assuming they're more or less like regular bats. Sort of get away with the thumb and a few fingers. I don't feel like it's all the fingers. And anyway, here we have 1, 2, 3 kind of little bat fingers that come out. So let's take a thumb and a few. Oh, it looks like they have 2. There we go. Done. One thing that came up recently is the need for me to initiate a clean install backup system. Something I've not been able to do for years, but I realized that since at the beginning of the year, I updated my, maybe it was like late last year, but I updated my system software, or my hardware, to Mac Studio Pro. So that I could do things like stream. But also because I desperately needed to have the basic functionality of having a system that I could partition and dual boot into. For whatever reason, my old Mac Mini ran into so many problems when I tried to do that. It just wouldn't work. And I kind of know what I'm doing too, because I used to be, before I was a professional artist, a Mac technician. So I understood the need and the utility of having, you know, a separate partition on a hard drive where you could, in the event of an emergency, have a backup system to boot into. It's just good practice. I hadn't been able to have that for years on any of my systems, so this weekend I initiated that. And it's like starting over from scratch. Now, that's not what I'm drawing on right now, but I've been running into bugs that have been difficult to pin down exactly what's going on. And I talked about this last stream, but I recently updated my system software and the Wacom drivers, and they may be playing nice for now, but I don't know. I don't know what I can count on. And if I have to have something that's reliable, I have to have a backup version of something that's reliable as well. So that's what I got started. And what I may eventually do is turn my backup system into my primary system. Because there's some baggage on this system somehow. somewhere, coming from somewhere, I don't know what. It's kind of how things go. You just install programs. There's updates, vestigial organs of updates get stuck into places they don't belong. Very hard to avoid altogether the need to periodically restart, but there's never a good time for it. If you have a dual partition, you can kind of hedge your bets, adjust and install things on one system, test it out while not effing up your main system. So that's a pretty cute little bat. Got to be drawing bats pretty well when I was on the Apex Legends trailer that premiered. Vantage. She has Echo, her little bat sidekick. Fix my hair. I had a lot of sun yesterday. Went to go see my parents. Whoa. Went to go see my parents and my brother at my parents' house. Took my kids, took my wife. Brought some friends over, a big old family affair. Maybe I should really crank up the ears on these guys. Very eerie. Little bat legs poking out here. All way too big. Obviously, here's a bat. This may be a little too bent. Try something. Just on a hunch. Something that feels like the bat was kind of trying to turn around and got struck down a little bit, or maybe is knocked back by the force of this skeleton, so it's a little more interactive. So it's still cropped, but cropped in a different angle. More interesting. How can I make that more violent? The bats at different sizes and at different positions with their wings sort of reinforce each other's sense of animation and create this sort of depth. It's almost like A, B, C, D. It's like this tracing arc. These bats sort of fly in groups, right? Why wouldn't they follow each other's path? Now here, these guys are too similar. But that feels okay. They were too similar in size, but here it feels like we get this coming towards us, wings up, coming towards us, wings down, coming towards us, wings up, but now tilting this way. And then this guy has this sort of climactic interruption. And then maybe over here to sort of resolve it. We get a bat basically flying away from camera. Like he's had enough. So although we intend for the reader to, or the viewer, to know that these are all separate bats, like it's a bunch of bats attacking Link, this to help reinforce the crush on the composition. I just didn't want it touching. I guess that's fine right there. Almost too clean though. Those are the bats. There's these cool... So these buyers have cool double sets of eyes. I think it'd look cool if I just sort of make them glowing. Sort of implying that they're waiting in the sidelines. And though different, they're symmetrical, sort of bifolding shape echoes the bat. Okay, now for something a little different. Don't yet know what these guys are called. Laser eyes. That's not really the one I was thinking of. Emos. There we go. I think that's what I intended for this sort of laser thing. that's shooting out over here. Beyond that, I didn't really imply much structure, so I'm not too sure if there's much left to draw in this beyond that. I'll probably double back to this and make this look more like a cave. Because it already does look like a cave down here. Okay, what does this look like? This is some sort of I-beam. It's got this blue thing there. We could make it look like the whole thing is made of rock, but maybe this part sort of is a diamond or a crystal. Maybe we can, like, it might be hard to see, but I'm trying to give an impression that it's wedged in there in a way that almost echoes the way that eyes can have trails of blood vessels that come out. Could look like that. It's tricky to get much, like, I don't know what any of this stuff really is. It almost looks like an octopus. It seems to have this mushroom type head. Let's explore it a bit. Let's turn off these other things. I like that it might look tall. Read better if I do this. Accentuate. These other sides of it will look like. But let's get something down. We can proceed from there. appears that it has these layers of what look like stone tentacles. It's symmetrical. Let's keep it in perspective. So it's almost like we're thinking of it. So like the base of it, let's say, is there. And moving up. Can go like that. Now, if these arms are going out, we can have two innermost arms going in. Halfway expected and halfway surprising. And then we can make that a theme. So at least whatever it is can look spooky and gross. Of course, everything I just drew is going to be behind that skeleton's head. So, big win right there. But we may still yet play around with that exact framing and the composition. Maybe things get nudged around. It's gonna be helpful to know that we have an idea for how things should look. Now, should this base be smaller or bigger? Can I get away with a quick resize like that? Something else. Maybe one more round, but more sparingly, where it feels like the roundness of the top of the form is transitioning to the squareness of the base. That might be enough. And again, most of this apparently is hidden by the skeleton. The rest of this can just sort of have these flaky chunks of stone texture. Feels like chunks have been taken out. The drawing of ancient stone statues can be forgiving. They're gonna look all chipped up and messed up. Can it look like this? Has a clear path that the eye, the uninitiated Zelda person, new to Zelda, might understand. Let's just then double down on this ridge. Tricky perspective. Let's try. Get that right. Close enough. And then, yeah. Now I feel like this is working better. More or less looks like that. Getting on the right track. I'm not going to do a long stream this hour. It's a school day, coming back after a long weekend. So at, let's say 6:15, call it. But there might be someone out there lurking who has a question. You can always break into the chat. It's not a big deal. But you can also just hang out. What I'm thinking of doing right now is making these forms, whatever they are, deliberately larger. Appreciably larger. Just to see what that looks like. But I don't like what just happened where it diminished the power of the eyeball to be huge. So we'll back up out of there. Let's think of something else. Oh, come on, did I run out of undos? Well, of course I did. Alright, well, now we have to go in there and draw it manually, and awkward. It's okay, this is like the rough sketch stage. Let's save our work a little bit. Introduce something here that makes it feel like there's different levels of elevation in the room. So that Link is able to conceivably leap from whatever platform Link is leaping from up here to attack the Stalfos that are just below. Call this BMOS, and let's consider sleeping on that, because I don't necessarily want to pull the trigger too quickly. I think that's something I might benefit from sleeping on a little bit. Not that it needs overthinking. It's just I might see something in the morning tomorrow that I might say, hey, what if it was slightly different? But I think it's overall capturing it. It definitely has this sort of creepy pseudo-phallic shape in the spirit of the thing. Definitely want a strong sense of the perching. So I want that feeling of gripping as well as just sort of plopping. These stony tentacle forms can be bigger at the top and get smaller as they go up. Maybe that's the way to see it. Not so much as to overdo it. Will it need, whatever strange things like that? If I draw stuff like this, does it help or hinder? Definitely brings some ick into it. Okay, let's do something silly. Draw this Octorok. Ooh, what's this? Big Octorok. There we go. Yeah, so this is kind of the thing, although I'm kind of getting away from the whole spitting rocks thing. I have a particular story idea that I'm sort of reserving that kind of idea for, but let's sketch into this and see what we can get into. Let's see how far we get in 15 minutes. And maybe this is just a clarifying rough sketch. Not looking to ink anything. It's too vague here. Mostly I just see a shadow of an idea. But I like the idea here. We have this giant angry eye. Probably through it all with lots of little warty looking structures. And I see here lots of cool veins. We'll get those in too. Bunch up the tension. Essentially, the story, as I'm thinking it, sort of like a Zelda vignette sort of story, is that at some point, Zelda and Link, maybe they've been on their adventure for a little bit together. They've had some successes. They think they know what's going on. And, you know, they're like, okay, we can handle this. This quest is going to be no biggie. They come across a moment where there's like a they come across an Octorok, but it's not a big one. It's like a maybe it's like being mischievous and it like throws a rock at Link and hits him, and he's sort of gets pissy and he throws a rock back and it actually hits the Octorok and it runs away. And he's like, yeah, serves him right. And Zelda says, like, I think that was a baby one or something like that. They're usually a lot bigger. And then we leave it. So sort of like that's the setup. And then later on, not too much later on, but before you know it, they're like, what's that sound? And they look out the window and they see this fucking thing coming at them. And this is Mommy Octorok, who is super pissed. And the Octoroks in my world, my Zelda world, are at a certain size. They get big enough basically to act as their own hovercrafts. Just trying to explore what the form could look like. There was an earlier stream where when I initially drew this, I kind of wanted the Octorok to be so big it could be destroying an entire village. But that almost feels like too much. So maybe instead of the size of several buildings, it could be the size of, you know, a couple. It could be like elephant sized. This is, if you've seen, you know, the Nausicaa films, the Miyazaki films. This is kind of one of those like giant Gorgon moments, you know, and even in that film they had a baby Gorgon that if nothing else, really sort of underscored the humanity of the monsters in that film. And there could be elements like that in our project. Prejudge all of these creatures as if they're just evil. You might not realize that in some instances, like what if Link is the bad guy? Not really, but ideas like that can help make a story a little bit more interesting. Different things could be happening. If I could feel that all sorts of trees be just getting crushed, knocked over. I don't want to obscure too much, like a clear read on the Octorok. Sort of randomly putting in veins. Big pissed off eyeballs. Whatever I put directly in front of this Octorok's path, whatever I put next to it is going to show the scale of it. And it's going to make a decision about what that is. Sometimes this is a process of elimination. I want the thing to feel heavy, but strong. And I want the limbs to feel like they're going in all directions and chaotic and unpredictable. But I don't want them to feel light and easy. That might be enough. Should I have something up here where it feels like it's uprooted a whole tree? I kind of want like a somewhat clear sky, not clear sky, but a clear view to get some of the forest and mountain birds like taking off, going crazy, smoke. So I don't want a bunch of tentacles just flying around in the background. I think this one is enough. There's one here, maybe one or two implied here in the background. Got a quiet stream today. That's good. What's going to happen is in about 5 minutes, I'm going to cut this one short and then get ready to take my kids to school, do that, come on back, and get right streaming again, because I already did all the household chores I was supposed to do last night, and even before I started this morning. I swapped out some laundry. So there's not a huge ton of unfinished things for me to take care of. And because this is a good project for me to work on while I wait for my clients to decide whether or not they need me today, I'll just jump right back into it. And that'll be fun. So if there is anybody watching, you might see me back again real soon. A little more expression. be good if it feels like there's... Nah. This feels more perilous, like there's nowhere to hide. You can just run. Run, but you can't hide. And I don't know if it will work to have suction cups underneath. It should be more like maybe they're converted from suction cups to just sort of these rigid sort of like built up chunks of flesh, like keratin or calluses or something like that. Something that like more akin to like what the bottom of an elephant's foot is made of. Just nubs of and it's getting there. So I'm going to call it a stream for now. I'm pleased with the progress this has made. Ended up making the Octorok too big compared to what I was discussing earlier, but whatever, it can be. It is like the huge mommy Octorok, mother bear Octorok, right? Must have veins. That's it. I will be back later. More Zelda. Right after I undo those little things. Just not working. Okay. Alright. See you in a bit. After this cool part. I'll get sick of this music eventually, but not yet.